Your message does not sit next to your sales problem. It is quietly causing it. Your sales skills might be fine, and that is exactly why your pipeline is actually really thin. If you are an expert with 20 plus years of experience, a network that knows you, and a calendar that is quieter than it should be, then this right here is for you. There's a sentence that costs experienced people more money than any other sentence in their business, and it sounds like a strength when you say it out loud. The sentence is, my sales skills are fine. I just need to get in front of enough of the right people. Now, I want you to sit with how reasonable that sounds, because it is reasonable. It's also the exact reason the right people aren't showing up for you right now. Your confidence, my friend, is earned. You sat across from difficult people and held on your own. You know that once you're in the room, you can hold the room. And that confidence, which is a genuine asset, creates one very specific blind spot. You've decided that the only problem left to solve right now in your business is volume. Just get me in enough rooms. So you treat your message as something to prettify or improve later, while the real work is filling the seats. You think of your business as two machines. Machine 1 gets attention. Machine 2 converts it. You've also decided that machine 2 is fine, so you need to crank your machine 1 harder. The reality is that there's never two machines, it is one system, and the message runs through all of it. A client of mine had been publishing for years to a real audience, creating content, showing up, people who had followed her a long time and never once booked anything. They didn't become clients. We changed one thing, not her offer, not her funnel, not how often she posted, but rather her message. And the thing is that as soon as she shifted that message, people who had been following her for years now were booking calls, and suddenly her conversion shot up to over 60%, made over $250,000 within that quarter. The people were already there. They just couldn't tell that she was talking to them. The volume of the wrong people gets you nowhere. You can be in front of 1,000 people every week and enroll nobody if they're the wrong 1,000 people. So the real question was never, how do I get in front of more people? It's, well, how do I get in front of the ones who are already looking for the thing that I do? Your message is the filter that decides who leans in and who ends up scrolling past you. But before you ever open your mouth, your words have already done the sorting. So think of it like fishing with a net. You can go out on that water every single day, long hours, real effort, like casting constantly. That's the volume part. That's getting in front of the right people. But if there are holes in your net or the holes are the wrong size, it doesn't matter how many times you cast. So the effort was never the problem. The net ultimately was. Now, what I want you to see here is that your message right now is literally the net. And most experts respond to an empty net by casting more. The people that you're actually fishing for have a name. I call those people power buyers. They're not people who need convincing. They're already looking. They're already decided that they have a problem and it's worth solving. They're the ones that are just trying to decide, who do they hire? And what happens is that a vague message catches everybody except them. Because a power buyer scanning for a specific answer is going to pass straight over a general one. How that person arrives decide how hard the conversation is going to be. And how they arrive was set by your message long before they ever booked a call. There are two ways that somebody walks in. Either they arrive cold and unsure what you actually do, needing you to explain and convince and prove yourself from zero, or they arrive warm, already understanding the problem that you solve, already half believing that you're the one. Now imagine walking into a random theater. There's no poster, there's no trailer, there's nothing. And you're sitting down with your arms crossed, making the film earn every single minute of your attention. Your message is the trailer for the conversation. And when it is clear, people arrive sold on wanting to talk to you. When it's vague, they show up cold, and you spend your best skill doing work your message should have done literally for free. If this is landing, by the way, can you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications? Because next week I'm breaking down why the deepest expertise is usually the hardest to describe and what to do about it. You very likely have decades of relationships, hundreds of people who know you, who like you, who respect you. So your instinct is that those people are going to naturally send you clients. The network here is the asset. But what happens is that a network can only refer you as well as it can describe you. Think about what a referral actually requires. Somebody has to hear a problem, instantly connect it to you, and say in one sentence why you're the person. If the best that they can do is like, oh, you need to talk to my friend, they are like a leadership coach, that referral is going to die immediately. There are 1,000 business coaches. You gave them nothing to actually hold. So if your pipeline feels thin, are you sure that it's a traffic problem? Most experts can't tell the difference. You're standing inside your own shop. You know exactly what you offer and who it is for, so your message sounds perfectly clear to you. You have no way of seeing that from the street at night and the windows are dark. That's exactly what I do on a brand message assessment. This is a 15-minute call and I'll tell you which of these 3 is the one that is costing you. Whether it is that your messaging is filtering for the right people, where buyers are arriving cold, or the language that your network needs so that they can finally refer you correctly. So think about a book in a library as an example. The book is there, it's on the shelf, it's excellent, it's exactly what somebody needs, but it got cataloged under business. Somebody walks in and asks for a book on negotiating with hostile counterparties. The librarian is searching the system and yours does not come up. Not because it's not good, not because it isn't in the building, but because of how it was actually filed. Your network is the catalog. And right now, they filed you under the broadest heading available because that's the only heading that you ever gave them. So the correct heading has an actual name. I like to call this your angle of mastery. It's the very specific piece of the problem that you understand better than anybody else after all of the years of experience that you have. It's not your title, it's not your category, it's the angle that only you can bring. Your brand isn't the paint on the car, your brand is the engine. When you think of a brand as logos and colors and a nice little tagline, of course it feels disconnected from sales. Paint doesn't make a car move, but that was never what a brand is. Your real brand is your specific message, the specific problem that you solve, the specific person that you solve it for, the specific angle that only you bring after all of these years. It informs your content, your strategy, your sales conversations. It runs through every single part of your entire business. It was never sitting off the table being like this cute decorative thing. It was the engine the entire time and you couldn't see it because you were looking at the paint. So honestly, branding and getting clients were never two separate things or problems. Your message does not sit next to your sales problem. It is quietly, literally causing it. So here's what I want from you. If you had to hand your entire network one sentence to describe what you do, what would it be? Let me know in the comments and be honest about whether it is specific enough that somebody could really repeat it easily from memory a week later, because that to me ultimately is the real test, not whether it sounds good when you say it, whether it survives being repeated by somebody else.